So today, what I wanted to talk about was I woke up the other morning and I had a bad dream. I dreamed that my son was screaming for help. And, y- you know, uh, what I'm reminded of is that there are using dreams that addicts have as they are in recovery. And they come out of nowhere. They can be triggered by smells and sights and people and all the things, even in the middle of the night. My son has talked about dreaming about using. And so I was so surprised. This was a couple weeks ago, just hearing him in my dreams. And he's been clean and sober for almost 13 months. And it was a reminder that it can pop up at any time. There wasn't any reason for it to pop up and it scared me. And so my heart started beating fast and I got a little anxious. And so I flipped into breathing, taking a deep breath in and holding it and taking it and letting it out, holding it and getting my breath and my body back into calmness, peace and calm out of anxiety. And then I was reminded that anxiety is such a huge thing in the midst of all of this for those of us who love and are working with addicts, alcoholics, even when they're in recovery. Like I said, my son's been, clean and sober now for 13 months. And I still have those moments where there's a phone call and I wonder, it's like a trigger almost. It's like a PTS response that I'm going to get the phone call for money, or I'm going to get the phone call that he's gone, or I'm going to get the phone call that where he's yelling, anything along those lines. So the anxiety is a real, real, real thing. And you couple that with a world that is full of anxiety. The statistics now are that 80 to 85% of Americans deal with anxiety issues. So there's this constant churning of things that could go wrong and planning ahead and hypervigilance and wondering if and our minds kind of go crazy with this thing called anxiety and make stuff up. What we know to be true is that 95 to 99% of what we're anxious about never ever happens. And so it's a pattern of behavior, it's a pattern of thought, it's a pattern of emotions that we're still running. And in order for us to calm our bodies, calm the being awash in cortisol, we need to really skill up in terms of how we navigate and handle and calm our anxiety and get to peace and calm. So the first three things, these are the three things that I am very religious about, almost obsessive about almost. They're mission critical for me in order for me to navigate when anxiety kind of rears its head, whether it's a thought of what might possibly happen. And the first one really is sleep is mission critical. Sleep is mission critical. And for those of you who are thinking, how the heck can I get sleep when I'm worrying about my son or daughter, husband, friend all the time? And I know this is a big ask for some people, and yet I'm still asking and encouraging people to get this under their belts because the constant worry and the constant anxiety about those we love that are still in addiction mode isn't going to help them. And it's only going to deteriorate us. So, first things first. One thing I've realized in terms of the sleep piece is gratitude, super important before I go to bed at night, is to enter my sleep with just listing in my head or out loud or on piece of paper, just multitudes of things that I'm grateful for. Just start with one. And hopefully the second one will come and the third one. And that's one way to head off into your sleep. The other is I started listening to Delta Brainwaves on YouTube. And our Delta Brainwaves are a deep sleep brainwave. And you can actually go to YouTube and put in search Delta Brainwaves, and it will give you a whole bunch of potential Delta brainwaves that you can listen to at night. A lot of them are 10 hours or more. So for you to get really restorative sleep is the deep sleep. And it is so critical. And I can tell you, having worked with this for now, it's really only the Delta brainwaves has been for the last 6 to 7 weeks. It has significantly impacted my sleep and how I wake up much more refreshed in the morning, ready to kind of take on the day, believing that I can take on the day. I got this. And so go to Google, YouTube, go to YouTube, put in search Delta brainwaves and try it out. I also use a sleep app, Sleep Cycle, and so I'm able to tell the quality and quantity of my sleep, and it will let me know how much time I have spent in deep sleep. And that has looked significantly different since I've started using the Delta brainwaves on YouTube. So again, super, super, super helpful. Another thing, sleep, number 1. Number 2, exercise. And I'm not saying that you have to get out and get to the gym and do an hour and all of the things. What I'm saying is you've got to move. Please move on a daily basis. Get outside if at all possible. Go for a walk. If you can just get outside for 30 minutes, and it doesn't have to all be at the same time, and go for a walk. Move. Feel your body moving. Because what happens is our bodies, when we're anxious, we hold anxiety a certain way. And if you start to move and change how your body is held by walking, by feeling like you are building some power, some resiliency, you'll begin to shift out of anxiety and into feeling stronger again. And taking in the trees, the mountains, the ocean, just the birds singing, the clouds moving, the sun rising. Being outside is incredibly restorative also. And movement in outside is so, so important in terms of building resiliency so that you can move away from anxiety and again to peace and calm. The third thing that I really would encourage you to do relative to exercise is also stretching. I do a stretching routine in the morning, and I'm stretching my hip flexors and I'm stretching my back and I'm stretching all the different parts of my body. Again, go to Google and put in there stretching exercises to keep your body limber and feeling more powerful. Google is a great friend. And then third, what I would say is what we eat matters. It significantly impacts our ability to navigate stress. And what most people think about, the kind of the comfort foods, those comfort foods actually are anxiety producing. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. And that was distressing for me on the front end. But what I would say is I love feeling much better when I'm eating cleaner and healthier. And a great resource for that is a podcast that Jim Quick, Kwik, his podcast, Quick Brain, had in, let's see, I think it's number 203, the podcast 203 on Quick Brain. Again, Kwik. And it is, let's see, what do I want to say? Foods for reducing anxiety. Really, really helpful. It's about 20 minutes long. There's an author that he has speaking on his podcast. If you want to get her book, then, the information's on the podcast and in the show notes. I did get her book. Super, super helpful. I am very keen on eating lots of blueberries, dark chocolate, lots of leafy greens, and making sure like kale, spinach, broccoli. The greens are really, really mission critical. I work to stay away from the sugar as much as possible because refined sugars have a really detrimental effect on our brains and our bodies. And this may be a lot for some people. This may be already in your equation for how you take care of yourself. And if you're still dealing with anxiety, take it up a notch. Take it up a notch. Take it up a notch. Keep working on these 3 areas until you can begin to feel your power coming back to you. When you start to feel that you have control, you have your power back, you're in a much better position to handle what comes your way relative to your loved one that's dealing with substance use disorder. Getting your power back is so important. And what I've learned from my son is that me taking care of myself was so important for him to know that I was doing what I could do to take care of myself, for me to still live a vibrant and happy and joyful life. That was important to him. And I kind of led the way of the importance of self-care, because the self-care that we do as loved ones is almost the exact same self-care that people do when they are in recovery. It's all the same. It's just we're not necessarily dealing with substance use disorder, but we very well could be dealing with codependency. We very much are dealing with anxiety. We very much generally are kind of dealing with the notion of letting go and surrendering, realizing that we can't fix it, we can't change it, we can't control it, and we didn't cause it. And that's our job, is to let go of those beliefs, that notion, and to begin to take care of ourselves and begin to get our power back, get our strength back, and build a platform, a foundation of healthy and whole, so that when things show up, when there's a relapse that takes place, when there's an arrest that takes place, when there is the phone call in the middle of the night or super early in the morning, that you are prepared and you know how you're going to handle these things. And when you have a foundation of great rest, eating clean and healthy, and getting exercise, you are so much better off to be able to handle the things that come your way. So again, 3 things that are mission critical for handling your anxiety when it pops up. Great sleep, get out and exercise, and eat clean. Eat healthy. Eat greens. So that's your tip for the week. Please take care of yourselves so you can handle whatever comes your way and you can say, I got this. Take care.